Okay, it's of course dinner time already in Asia, where the markets finished mixed on Wednesday, losing some of the optimism spurred from the Dow Industrials hitting a new record close overnight, just shy of the psychological 20,000 level. Australia's ASX 200 closed higher by almost 0.5%. The Japanese benchmark, the K225, finished in the south 0.26% after touching a one-year high earlier in the day. In South Korea, the Kospi closed down about 0.2%, while the Taiwanese TAIEX index exchange closed 0.41%. The Chinese shares were also in positive territory. The Shanghai Composite was strong, 1.15% in the green, and its closest cousin, the Shenzhen Composite, ended 0.74%. also in the green. In Hong Kong, the Hang Seng added 0.65% by mid-afternoon, snapping a 4-session losing streak. Okay, good morning, America. Of course, it's still early hours on Wall Street, so the doors are, the opening bell is not yet ready. It's about 2 hours from now. Meantime, that's if you're watching this from the Central European Time, the stocks index futures pointing to a higher open on Wednesday morning, as traders remained unfazed by geopolitical tensions and eyed the Dow Jones Industrial Average flirting with 20,000 for almost a week, perhaps scared a little of crossing that level. On the data front, Wednesday we'll see existing home sales data for November. That will be coming out at about 10 a.m. Eastern. Then look at the other major indices there on Wall Street. The stocks futures, S&P 500 pointing to a flat open, 0.02%. The Nasdaq heavy tech about flat as well, shy of the S&P 500. No significant difference from the Dow Jones Industrials. Now, on the earnings front, you were looking at Accenture, Paychex, Accutant, Finish Line, and Winnebago, all set to report before the opening bell. Bed Bath & Beyond, Micron, Red Hat, Calampan, others are due to report after the closing bell. So it looks like the earnings are coming through on Wall Street. Meantime, here in Nigeria, the contentious new code of corporate governance is the focus of the two-day summit that started today by the Financial Reporting Council. The two-day annual summit is currently underway as we speak. Participants at the summit include chartered accountants, the audit firms, reporting accountants, and other firms who are stakeholders in the industry, including company secretaries and solicitors. They're discussing the state of the new corporate governance that's causing so much uproar. A few weeks ago, the Financial Reporting Council decided to go public with the private sector section of the code. The public sector will require executive order to put that on motion. Then the, of course, not-for-profit part of the code will be, well, comply or justify why you will not comply. Let's get back to North Africa, where Morocco's economic growth will jump to 4.2% in 2017 from an estimated 1.2% this year on the back of rising agricultural output. The central bank made the bullish projection as it keeps its benchmark interest rate unchanged at 2.25%. Well, dry weather, quite an abnormal dry weather across North Africa / cereal harvest last season to 3.35 million metric tons. That's about 70% decline from the previous record of 11 million metric tons. Last year's drought in Morocco or in North Africa was the worst in 30 years. But early season rainfall this year is up about 22% from a normal year, and that's up 107% from last year. The central bank, known as Al Maghrib, revised down this year's overall growth estimate to 1.2% from 1.4% earlier. The central bank also lowered its interest rate to 2.25% from 2.5% last March. That's the first cut in more than a year. The aim was to support the economy, in which agriculture accounts for more than 15%. Straight to Southern Africa, Zambia, one of Africa's well, foremost country as far as metal is concerned, mining. The World Bank says it has reached an agreement to lend the country more than $100 million to reduce environmental health risks in polluted mining areas and support the country's economic diversification. Mining is a major contributor to the economic growth of Zambia, Africa's second biggest copper producer, but has left environmental problems in some mining towns. The World Bank said in a statement that $65.6 million will be spent on reducing environmental health risks and another $40 million to support economic diversification through agribusiness and trade projects. The diversification project is expected to reach 4,000 Zambian farmer households and 300 small and medium-sized enterprises. The project will have at least 30,000 direct beneficiaries. And sticking with Zambia now, straight in the business of copper. Konkola copper mines owned by Vedanta Resources has been ordered by a London court to pay the Zambian government more than $100 million for a claim related to copper prices. The claim relates to outstanding payments under a 2013 copper price participation settlement agreement between KCM and Zambia Consolidated Copper Mines Investment Holdings.